Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to NJPW Puroresu Review. I am your co-host, the very sore Andre C. Not and right with me is the Dynamite Princess herself. It's Melball. How you doing, Melball?
Dynamite, I love it. Kaboom. Um, I'm doing great today, Andre. I had a pretty okay leg day. It definitely could have been better. Just wasn't feeling it today. It was cold out. It's kind of a battle getting to the gym today. I don't know why every idiot in a truck was on the road in between my place and the gym, but that was a thing.
That's how it
I made it
works.
back alive, though. I arrived alive. I got my caffeine. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing okay. Again, my glutes and hammies are good. Feeling better today than from my workout on Friday. But oh Jesus, right across here, man. Still, oh, my pectoral and shoulders and whatever from the bench
That's what
press. Just
happens when you do the bench press.
I don't ever want to do a bench press again.
I mean, they suck, but do see some good growth on those things. The one I use isn't the same version that you do, though. You did the
My
one.
Rich has me going on the Smith press right now to build my form. So it's not the free one; it's the one with the it's like running along the tracks. But he said for now, while we're working, he'd rather me that one then it keeps me building proper form, and then afterwards and then I can move on to free bar later. And I'm like, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. See, with my shoulder injury, I'm a little sketchy with free bar stuff right now, just because
Mm.
the shoulder has been giving me some issues.
So
So I
come to the
use
Smith
that like
press.
I use the big boy machine. I don't know what it's called. It's a thingamajiggy. It does the same motion, but it's a sit down machine that you load your weight
Oh,
on
okay. I think I
independently.
know. I was using that early on in my first block of workouts. It's just the machine weight one that you just do like the
Yeah, and
little
you can either move them both at the same time or one at a time.
yeah. So you can and
Depends
it's
on how
just
you're feeling.
it's just the two handles you grab onto and push up in front of you. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I like that one. I mean, I struggle with it because you can't really control it, like the
Mm.
weight on it as much, and sometimes she's little. She can't push too much. She feels a little embarrassed being on there pushing 25 pounds when she has to remove 90 from the last guy who used it.
Yeah, those are fun when people just you have one where you actually have to load it. Oh, the one at my gym is just a little it's just got the stacked weights and you just put the little peg in and it brings it up and down. That's the one at my old gym. That's the one I had. Actually the
Much
gym I'm at
like
now
the
too.
clientele at my gym is very old school.
Okay.
I can't complain about it though. They're nice people there for the most part. But in the early
there,
morning, should be questionable.
there you go. I gotta hit the gym up
Mhm.
tomorrow morning when I get up. Oh,
But
as we
enough
record
about the
this, it is
gym.
Sunday.
Let's talk about the guys who are
Yeah,
gymming good.
but I figured before we get into the New Japan Cup, I think we should talk about a little news that came out last night, right after we finished doing our Japanese wrestling update on OLE. We got some news jumping off stream. Alex Coughlin, New Japan Pro Wrestling star, has retired. I figure this is big news. I think we should talk about it here because again, this is a guy who I think has been absolutely awesome these last little while. Has had his star really risen with the War Dogs coming to such prominence in New
Mm.
Japan. So I look at it and I go, oh, this sucks. Just
Oh, very much so, yes.
yeah, because again,
Very much so.
it's sad to see him retire. Again, I hope he's okay. I hope it's not. I hope
Mhm.
it's just he decided just to change up his life and he's going a different way. I hope it's not a forced retirement. And he said, but he did say in his tweet, I have it here. Um, yeah, I'm retired. It sucks now. Leave me the fuck alone. So to me, that feels like he did something like an injury, and
Mhm.
it's going to keep him from going forward in wrestling.
And yeah, it sucks to hear because we know our good friend Ashley Pizarro, big fan of Alex Coughlin.
Hmm.
Myself also a big fan of the strength of that man. The things that he
Hmm.
very unique to himself, and he definitely was coming out to be the next like supreme powerhouse that NJPW had. I mean, he could lift people and things that he had no business lifting. It was incredible. Um,
He,
but you're
he
right.
yeah. So say his gimmick always reminded me kind of Cesaro because he's big, but he's not like gigantic. But the power things he does is insane.
hmm
Yeah.
Um, you threw off my train of thought there. I had another point and I don't remember what it was.
Sorry,
Stop
Alex
doing
Coughlin.
that.
Alex Coughlin.
Ah, um, I am concerned also with the sudden announcement and also the way the tweet was worded because we did see this back when Okan had left on excursion with his partner who had the same thing happen, unfortunately. Kitamura, do you
Yeah,
remember
and then
him, the big guy?
he ended up passing away too.
Very suddenly, yeah, he was
Yeah.
doing the bodybuilding route, and unfortunately, I
Yeah.
don't know really what happened there, but unfortunately, he did pass away very young. Um, I'm hoping it's not a similar situation where I think Kitamura was his ankle. I think he tore his Achilles. Not entirely
Hmm.
sure. Um, but
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
not. Yeah.
I know it was
Yeah.
a leg appendage injury of some kind. I believe it was a torn Achilles. It was something on his leg. But
Yeah.
anyway, I really do hope that it's not something that's going to impact his life for the rest of his life, and that he can figure out something else to do with his NJPW money in the
Yeah.
meantime.
Yeah, and again, all the best to Coughlin in wherever he in
Mhm.
whatever he does and whatever he goes forward. If he eventually gets a chance to return to wrestling, awesome. If this is the end for him, I will miss him because I think he was an absolutely incredible talent. But I just want to speak on one thing you and me talked about after the show last night. Who could replace Alex Coughlin?
Oh, this, yes.
My idea, I said to Mel, was Bolton Oleg. You take one powerhouse, replace him with another. Make Bolton the Bullet Club like their junior. Make him their junior, and he could be. And Mel had the best name, Bullet
Oh,
Bolton.
Bullet Bolton. Yeah, Bullet
So
Bolton.
good.
Hey,
Again, like,
I mean, you could have Gabe Kidd rebrand himself, be the shotgun, shooting the
mhm.
bullet.
Yeah. Again, there's like again, I think that's a great role for him to roll into. Again, they lose their kind of big guy, and imagine the even more massive hulking size of Bolton Oleg backing up
Mhm,
a Gabe Kid in their tag matches. It's just even more impressive with that big of a man, even bigger than Coglin. Just yeah, it would be. I think it'd be
mhm,
great. Great, I really do.
mhm. I agree. I also think it would be a really good place for Oleg to grow and learn because you have someone as charismatic and just intense and edgy as David Finlay captaining that team. Then you have Gabe Kidd, who's just unhinged. He would really help Bolton, I think, really unlock that charisma that he's starting to really start to show us in the last few matches. Um, yeah, I personally think it would be a tremendous idea. I feel like he could learn a lot from that faction, that group, Drilla Maloney too, Clark Connors if he decides to resign. I don't know if he has yet or not made the
Yeah,
decision yet. I haven't seen anything.
haven't heard anything on re-signing, but he will be at the April 6th show in the triple threat tag team title match, WGP Junior tag team title match. So
Mhm.
I'm hoping he re-signed with his boys. I really do. Yeah.
I am too, because I would hesitate to ask Dean Maloney or Drilla Maloney to step up into the heavyweight division quite yet. He's doing tremendous, and I think he could tangle with some of the big guys, but I think he's got some stuff still to do in the junior division, I feel.
Well, I think the guy could have a great run in the singles, but
Mhm.
the other issue is there he's going to run into his stablemate in Taiji Ishimori, and that's the yeah.
We've seen how Bullet Club deals with Bullet Club problems. We're good.
It's very true. And speaking of problems, let's get into the New Japan Cup, and especially the first match of the New Japan Cup. Because there's a problem. It's evil. It's an evil problem.
Everything is evil.
It's a very evil problem that New Japan has. So we
Mm-hmm.
kick it off. Tsuji comes out. Evil makes his way down to the ring, and Tsuji hits a tope suicida to him on the floor during his entrance. Togo attacks Tsuji, but Tsuji hits Togo with the tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. Tsuji tells the ref to call for the bell, so the ref does. Evil ends up fighting back. He runs Tsuji into the barricades. The ref gets knocked down. All of House of Torture come out to attack Tsuji. Bushi and Hiromu come out on their own, and the numbers overwhelm Lij. And the ref just goes, "Call the match," and Gingino just yelling, "Evil wins! Evil wins! Evil wins!" over, and I'm just like, "What the?" And the ref, and it's been declared a no contest. So Tsuji gets the mic. He's challenging Evil to fight him again. I assume he's saying without their boys at ringside because everybody goes, the teams go to the back, and we
For
get
now.
and for now, and we get the match. It's restarted. So this is our second semifinal match. It's a semifinal restart. Evil versus Yota Tsuji. They trade shoulder blocks. Tsuji drops Evil, hits a salmon splash for 2. Evil rolls out. Tsuji follows him out, but Evil runs him into Abe-san. Evil then removes the corner pad in the ring. Back in the ring, Evil's pulling Tsuji by the hair and attacking him, and he goes for a pin, but the ref just like, nah, I'm not counting that. I'm just like, all right, I'm not gonna fight it up this time because
It was Kenta Sato, wasn't it?
I don't remember which one it was. Might have been
I don't
Marty.
think it.
Was it
No,
Marty?
Marty always counts. Marty always counts. I think it was Kenta Sato.
Yeah, Sato and Red Shoes are like, we're not putting up with your shit. We're not gonna let you
Yeah.
blatantly
Marty's
cheat
a
in
bit
front of
of a
us and then
wimp.
count for you. Yeah, it's true. Um, Evil whips Tsuji into the exposed corner, but can only get 2. Evil with the chops to Tsuji, rakes the eyes. Evil stepping on his head in the corner. And then as Tsuji gets up in the corner, Evil goes to splash from the corner, but Tsuji boots him in the face as he's running and kicks him in the gut, grabs the head with the legs, and smashes the face into the ground. Look, I
He
love
threw
that.
it on the ground.
He threw Evil on the ground where he belongs.
Aw.
Suji gets that backbreaker face plant stomp combo. He follows with another curb stomp and then sets up Gene Blaster, but the ref gets tossed into the way. Um, and Suji pulls up, doesn't hit the ref, but then Evil grabs Suji, puts him up on the ref's shoulders, hits the ref assisted magic killer.
Mhm.
Evil then picks him up, whips him into the exposed corner again, hits a lariat, but pulls Tsuji up on the pin, which was very like, you're a dumbass. Like, I'm just like, Evil makes bad choices in life.
Yeah, poor life choices were made in this one for sure.
Very much. You don't pull the person up from a pin. Simple as that. Like, you just
Especially
don't.
when you're like doing your damnedest to cheat to win. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
why continue?
Mm-hmm.
What he's supposed to be a bit of a snake. It was odd to see him do that. I mean, cocky as hell because we know
Mm-hmm.
he's cocky, but like usually he's pretty slimy. Very interesting show of backbone.
So Evil's all cocky. She's like, and I'm going to finish with dirt. And hits Darkness Falls, but he only gets 2. And Gino Gambino's line, what was he counting to 3 on a sundial? And I just burst out laughing at that line. Oh, I
Oh,
love
Gino
Gino.
on commentary this tour has just been
Oh, just
gold.
he's perfection, man. Like he's just so good. Like
Mhm.
he's like, to me, he's a good version of Jerry Lawler from 2002 and 2000 and like 2003. Because Jerry Lawler was
Yeah.
annoying as a heel commentator, but he wasn't bad. I'm not saying he was bad, but he was an annoying one.
Mhm.
Where Gino doesn't come off annoying because for the most part he calls everything very well. Where
Mhm.
Jerry Lawler was just annoying the whole time. But
Well, I mean, when except for when it comes to Bullet Club. Gino calls things very well.
Yeah, but he still comes off very well. It doesn't come off annoying. When he's making this shit, it comes off very funny and humorous when he's siding with them. You're laughing at Gino for siding with these dumbasses.
Yeah, I laugh in the same way that I laugh at what I hear Booker T is doing on commentary in WWE.
I find Gino insanely funny. So Tsuji ends up fighting off everything is evil, stops the whip into the exposed corner, dodges out of the way. Evil runs in the exposed corner. Tsuji hits a super kick. They're both down. Evil striking, getting strikes and getting lariats, but to Tsuji. But Tsuji hits a knee to the face, then hits that release Falcon arrow for 2. Tsuji goes for the double jump stomp, but Evil slides the ref over and Tsuji stomps the ref. I laughed so hard
Yeah.
when he stomps Kenta Sato. Oh, it was
You are
great.
cruel.
Oh, it was so good. How's the Torture all back out? They attack Tsuji. They run the train on as they call it on commentary, running the train of all the guys hitting him, smashing him in the corner. And then
Mhm.
they hit dick to dick contact. Hiromu and Bushi come out. They get beat up. And then we get a Dick and Perry to dick contact as they both do the move to Hiromu and Bushi. So it's a Dick and Perry to dick contact.
Called it a double dicking, but okay.
I don't know. There's so many stupid things you can say for this team. They're just a bunch of idiots.
Absolutely. Yeah, whatever you can say to make it sound worse.
A dick and goat. I don't know. He's always wearing
Oh
that
dear
goat
God.
mask. He's always
No,
wearing that goat mask.
he
You gotta
wasn't
make.
wearing it while he wasn't wearing it while he was doing the dick contact though.
But he's the scapegoat. Come on. Evil hits a
Yeah.
lariat. Evil gets a lariat, but Tsuji kicks out a 2.9. Evil goes for everything evil, but Tsuji does that Osprey backflip through it.
Mm.
Looks so good, and it gets like almost like he got him up on his shoulders and spun him off the shoulders into almost like a Blue Thunder bomb. Gets a
Yeah.
2 out of that. Tsuji knees Togo, or yeah, Tsuji knees Togo, but the ref gets distracted by Evil, and then the ref gets distracted by Togo getting hit, and Evil gets a low blow. Shingo shows up, takes out the rest of House of Torture, fights them all off. Bushi hits the mist to Evil, and Shingo gets the pumping bomber. Tsuji sets up Gene Blaster for the win. Evil finally got a taste of his goddamn medicine by having all his other buddies do moves to his opponents. Screw it, they're gonna do it to him. And it was great. It was great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This was so nice. This was a nice match, especially given what we had the night before with this
Mm,
bullshittery.
yeah.
This was great. This was a really, really good match. Surprisingly good match considering all the shenanigans that happened. Though
But
again, for
it was
me,
all in the last like 2 to 3 minutes of the match. Like and in that little count
yeah,
out.
but like
Yeah.
the shenanigans at the beginning, like it was a great story. It was a really great story. It did exactly what it was supposed to be because I was pissed off when the first chunk happened and they were like, "Yeah, no contest," and rah, 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 and I was like, "Duh, fizzity is this." I wanted a match, and then we got the match, and I was very happy with this. Um, yeah, but once the shenanigans did start the second time, it always takes the wind out of the sails for me. It
Mm,
didn't as much as it did in the past, though. I would actually compare the level of shenanigans that happened in this match to the level of shenanigans that we have seen Oedo Tai doing in Stardom. It was there, it was happening, it was a little obnoxious, but it wasn't as torturous as it usually
mm.
is. Probably because Suji was involved, because
Well, and I
he's
think they
really
finally
good.
I think Shingo coming out to at the end there to make the save that really helped, and then them
Mhm,
all ganging up to finish Evil off really kind of gave you that. Yeah, screw you. You got what you deserved, you jerk. Like,
mhm, mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sickened. Like I say this every show. Independently speaking, each wrestler within House of Torture is amazing and very accomplished as a
Except Togo.
single.
Or sorry, no, except
No,
Yujiro. Sorry, except Yujiro.
that fisherman hook suplex though.
Looks like shit.
No, you lie. It's good. But like each individual is good on their own. Plus Peter,
Yeah, but not Yujiro sucks though.
she would not be there without him. Anyway, House of Torture, independently, they're great and accomplished and talented wrestlers, but as a unit, it just seems to be like bleh. It's garbled. I'm trying to understand where that disconnect is happening. Because hypothetically speaking, if you have that much talent, it should end up like a chaos unit where each person and group or whatever they choose to combine as they're as popular as Bishamon, they're as popular as Okada, they're as popular as Sho and Yo when and Roppongi 3K when they were a thing. Like they should be able to do that, but still be functional. And House of Torture can't seem to do that, and I can't understand why.
Again, it's the fact that they bring all the dirty tactics into it and all this cheating that eventually screws them over.
But like, who's not managing the level of it? Because the shenanigans are great. It's just they're at a level right now where it's obnoxious. It's too much. Who is encouraging that and who is not
Hmm.
discouraging that? Like, we need to find a balance where this kind of stuff can happen and it's not detrimental to the overall match and show. Know what I
True.
mean?
Yeah, I agree with you there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I'm getting sick. It's starting like going forward. I think we're going to be skipping some, depending on who they're facing. We might be skipping some House of Torture matches and just being like, that's the finish. It sucked.
Yeah, if it's not imperative to the story, I mean, there's no point in seeing it because we know it's going to be like 2 or 3 matches of good stuff, or sorry, 2 or 3 minutes of good stuff, and then it's going to be Togo with the Garrett, Ren Narita with the push-up bar, Evil with everything, and the ring announcer. Like it's too predictable. There's some signatures and stuff that should be
Hmm.
predictable enough happening in the matches, but like it shouldn't be a list of how like House of Torture bullshit that we have to go through every single match. It's like pick and choose your thing. We shouldn't have this Santori surprise every match with House of Torture. And we shouldn't even have it every show. We should have it once every couple of shows. We shouldn't have Dick Togo out there with his Garrett every single match. He should be there, sure, but he shouldn't be choking people every single time. You know what I mean? Like there's got to be balance. It can't just be them like regurgitating all of their stuff just for the sake of regurgitating all of their stuff. There needs to be function to it.
I agree with you 100% on that one. You get no argument
Hmm.
for here. It needs to be reeled back, and let's have a few. Let's have some matches where the interference doesn't happen. Let's do some stuff. Let's change it up. If you give me a match where they
Mm,
don't interfere at all, that'll get me back on board with the team. And if you cheat once in a while, I'm chill. I can deal with that.
yeah.
But don't make your cheating everything that your team's about. That is my biggest
Maybe
problem.
we should like suggest like a clause or something where like House of Torture gets locked in a shark cage every match and they can't get out. They're just stuck there, all of them. All whoever is not fighting, just stuck in the cage and they can't get out.
Well, I think
Please.
Togo gets the exception because he does have a manager's license. While he's a wrestler, he does have his manager's license, so he gets to be
Okay, the
exception.
Garrett will be what's used to shut the cage.
There you go. I can agree with that. I can agree with that
There we go.
because
Ideas.
Togo
I
will
got
have
them.
Togo does have the argument that he does have his manager's license and he does have the right to manage his people. So I can agree with him.
I mean,
But the garrote has to be used tied into the cage.
yeah, even if it's just one person at ringside, it's better than the other freaking five.
It's true.
I will
Very
take
true.
one person being at ringside over the entire fact. I'd be happy
Hey,
with that.
I agree. We're gonna move on to something that was a very, very good main event on the semifinal show. It's
Mhm.
Hirooki Goto versus Sanada. This match, I thought Sanada like man, he actually had some charm here and had some like playing off Goto, who isn't in Goto has this weird charm about him. He's not like the most expressive person in the world, but he's like Shingo Takagi. He has that fire up. He has that fire up spirit. Where Takagi has general presence always. I will say that, but he has that fire up that like Takagi has, and it really
It gets
helps
the
him.
crowd going for sure.
Yeah, and again, it's just I think it's and again he's been around for so long that one little movement that crowd's gonna be like yeah for him, right? So
Yeah.
Goto, the last time he made the New Japan Cup final, no, would have been I think against Kenny Omega in
Yeah.
2017, I want to say, and then the last time he won the New Japan Cup was 2012. So again, when did I have to look it up for when Japan Cup winners. There we go. Found something. Where was it? Go to. Oh no! Last time he made the finals was 2016 against Naito.
Ah.
I was thinking of a different tournament with a different thing with Kenny. That was actually New Japan Cup with Kenny. I think no, it wasn't. It was another one. I can't remember which one it was, but yeah, the last time it was 2016 against Naito. Last time he's in the finals.
I think that's actually
But
when I started watching NJPW. I remember that
I'm
match.
pretty sure he won the tournament in 2012 against Hiroshi Tanahashi.
That
So,
makes sense.
yeah, but yeah, again, so this is this man trying to like really like so many years later trying to rebuild himself and have that resurgence, right? That's what he's trying to do here. Um, Going up against Sanada, who's trying to capture the same magic as last year to get himself back to that cup final, get him that win, and get him in that match, get another rematch against Tetsuya Naito. So they're locking up and feeling each other out early, chain wrestling, working the transitions. Goto drops Sanada with a shoulder, gets a hip toss, and then lariats him out to the floor. Goto attacks Sanada on the floor, but Sanada stops the whip and then toe holds Goto into the barricade, then brings him out into the exposed floor and pile drives him. Just pile drives him on the floor out of nowhere. And then Goto gets in at 18.
Wasn't 19.
It was 18. Goto fights back, but Sanada gets the Russian leg sweep. He gets a chin lock, but Goto gets to the ropes. Goto with chops. Sanada gets the boot, but Goto hits a lariat, whips him into the corner, hits the wheel kick and the backdrop suplex by Goto for 2. Sanada with the hops, like he's just hopping over everything Goto running.
Yeah.
The hops this guy has is insane, man. The only person that beats him is probably Kevin Knight for just straight up hops like that. Like, yeah. And he hits and he sends he hits a drop kick, sending Goto to the floor, hits the plancha, plays to the crowds, like going around the ring, just like come on, with his hand like on his ear and just waving his arm up in the air, just trying to get this crowd to fire up even more. And they're getting up, they're firing up, they're loving it. Goto fights out of the TKO in the ring, but then he gets Sanada on his shoulders, but Sanada gets off the shoulders, gets the skull end. But Goto gets out. They're each dodging each other. Sanada gets him up on his shoulders, hits the TKO, then he goes up to the top for the moonsault, but Goto gets out of the way, but he lands on his feet, and Goto gets him up on his shoulders. Shigaroshi, and both men are down. They raise up, strike battle at center. Goto unloads, dropping Sanada, but Sanada catches the chest kick. Goto gets Sanada up, tries for the GTW, but Sanada stops it and gets Goto on the ropes for the magic screw. Sanada kip up and hits the Shining Wizard, applies Skull End as Goto's about to fade out. Sanada lets go, goes up for the moonsault, and actually gets it for once. But only gets 2. Usually this almost always results in the knees going up. So I was like, wow, He actually hit it off the skull end
Mhm.
because it's when he does the moonsault in other situations where he gets it. Where this one of the matches versus the moonsault for other situations he didn't get, and the skull end moonsault he got. It was really weird. Um,
Mhm.
Goto stops deadfall, hits a headbutt, another headbutt to Sanada, and Goto gets him with the PK. He gets the chest kick, but I was watching racing this morning. Sanada, I was thinking of Yuki Tsunoda there. Sanada backslides out of the GTR for a 2 count, then gets an O'Connor roll for a 2 count. The Shining Wizard is hit and but then Goto reverses deadfall into GTW for 2. Then he gets the GTR for the win. Hirooki Goto going back to the finals for the first time in 8 years. 8 years later.
Yeah, baby. Yes.
Yeah,
I have
and
been loving on Goto since I
I
started watching.
so wish we would have got him in Finley's match. They have to do a singles at some point. Like they really do. I need to see that match, man. I really do.
Mhm. I agree. I agree. That match needs to happen because that could have been a banger of a match. Um, yeah, you kind of got everything that I kind of written down. I just it's sentimental for me to see Goto win this
Hmm.
one because I honestly I had hope that Goto would win, but I honestly thought Sonata was going to pick up the win after this, and I was concerned. I was concerned about the final because we've kind of already seen that mix, right?
Well, it was
I
last year's Tsuji's return match was against Sanada for the title. And it was
yeah, so I was
fine. It
like,
was fine, but it wasn't great.
no, it was okay. So I was concerned, much like I was concerned for the second coming of Sonata and Jack Perry. But that was a pleasant surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Just go around, despite all the shenanigans that came with it.
Mm-hmm.
We knew there would be no shenanigans or anything in this match. This was going to be the cleanest of the cleanest matches I think we would see in the cup,
Yeah.
just because chaos just doesn't support each other, and just 5 guys, they come out when they're needed.
Yeah.
So, I was very happy with how this match went. It felt like just a classic, good old-fashioned match, start to finish. But you're right, there was an interesting level of charisma and charm coming out of Sonata in this match that I think was heavily influenced by Goto. And I think it also hyped up Goto quite a bit because where Goto isn't over the top, he doesn't undersell anything either. He sells appropriately, maybe a little under because he's a little bit more subtle with his selling. But in this one, he was selling so good.
Mm-hmm.
His facial expressions were so different. You could see the range of emotion that he was feeling as the match progressed. And the same thing with Sonata. He was showing, he's usually very stoic when he wrestles. We were seeing bouts of not excitement, but like parts where Sonata was maybe getting a little frustrated, a little tired, showing some frustration. And the same with Goto. It made for an incredible match and an incredible main event.
That two very stoic people who both
Mhm.
have the ability to be charismatic if they need to. We've seen Sonata when he was Cold Skull be insanely charismatic. It's shaving the beard. That's what did it. It's getting rid of the beard. That's his. What is
That
it?
beard was pretty mangy.
Well, it's like the guy that if you cut his hair, he lost his power. That was Sonata. He cut his beard, and he lost his charisma.
They say that with rappers all the time when they cut their hair, they lose their rapping ability. It's true.
Except
It
Eminem.
really is true.
Except Eminem.
Eminem has always kind of had the same length of hair, though.
Well, he had that like blonder, little bit longer hair early days, and then he's like shaves it down to like nubs now, and he's only gotten better over his career. So
I was gonna say, I feel like that's a little different. That's a little different with him.
yeah,
He's always kind of had that same short do. So for me, like the difference between the blonde and the dark, it doesn't make so much of a difference. I'm talking like Ludacris.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah. Yeah.
Or Busta Rhymes, you
Well,
know,
although Ludacris was great on the halftime show this year when he came out for Yeah, he was pretty good.
because yeah, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. God, I remember when that song was first released. Let's move on
Yeah.
before I start to feel
Yeah.
too old.
Yeah, I do too. That was what? That was almost
Uh,
2 decades ago that song came out.
it was. It came out when I graduated high school.
Oh, then it's over 2 decades.
Fuck you.
Well, no, because I'm just about my 20-year graduation. So trust me, I understand. Next 2025 is 20 years ago. It's 2000 January 10th, 2004. So yeah, 20
I'm done.
it's now 20 years old. Holy crap. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that song came out in 2002, 2003.
No, it says it
That
released
was
in
when I
'04.
graduated.
It says it's released in '04. So
Really? I
yeah.
didn't think it was that far after
Yeah.
that doesn't feel right.
I
Something about that timeline isn't adding up for me.
It's what
Anyway,
Wikipedia said. It's
back
what
to the wrestling.
Wikipedia says. We go on. We're going to talk the finals. It's Hirooki Goto with Yoshi. And Yoshi-hashi was at ringside for Goto in that match. He was just kind of. So it's one member of Chaos is supporting him at least. So same thing with this
Yes,
match.
his pole buddy.
Yeah, his pole sounds so wrong. Hirooki Goto with Yoshi-hashi versus Yota Tsuji. Tetsuya Naito is out there. He is on the Japanese. He is a Japanese commentary.
Mhm.
And again, we're not talking the rest of the card. Chris Charlton's back. Loved hearing his voice on this show. It's like, yay, Chris.
Yes.
I love me some Chris Charlton. They're locking
Mhm.
up, feeling each other out early. Chain wrestling on the ground. Tsuji gets a hammer lock. Tsuji gets a chop to the chest on the ropes. They get a test of strength. Tsuji gets Goto to his knees. Uh, they start the shoulder blast. Goto smashing into Tsuji. Can't drop him. But then he hits the hip toss. Then he drops Tsuji with the shoulder block finally. Uh, gets that chin lock with the knee into the back. But Tsuji fights out. He gets an arm drag and boots Goto, and Goto ends up going onto the floor. Tsuji then hits the tope suicida to the floor. Scoop slam for 2 by Tsuji in the ring. Big chop, snapmare, and then gets a body scissors, which is kind of new to the repertoire of one Yota Tsuji. But
A
Goto
very
does.
lucha move, though.
Yeah. Goto fights and gets to the ropes. Goto misses in the corner, but comes back with a big lariat. He gets the whip into the corner, then gets the wheel kick and the backdrop suplex out the corner for 2. Tsuji fights back, hits the backbreaker face plant stomp combo, gets a stinger splash in the corner, and then hits a shoulder block and the salmon splash by Tsuji for 2. It's just the Ultimate Warrior splash. Mel just has a weird fixation that it looks like a salmon, but
Looks like a fish. There's, I love that you were calling it Mount Fuji for a while. Now there is no mountain, there is no nothing, unless he's just swan diving off the mountain. No, he looks like a fish coming out.
well, that's
And I
what they
swear,
call.
if he wiggled a little bit, he'd look like a salmon swimming upstream.
Well, that's what they were calling it for the longest time. They were calling it Mount Fuji, and
Yeah,
then lately, whenever Chris or Walker calls it, they just call it a splash now. So I'm just kind of going to the salmon splash now.
it's a salmon splash.
Yeah, Goto blocks a suplex and they're dodging each other while running. Tsuji hits a strike, but Goto gets him up, hits a Ushigoroshi. Both men are down. They trade strikes at center. Tsuji goes down. He unloads. But Tsuji comes back, unloading with shots. But Goto hits the gets him into the inverted GTR, crushing the chest. He follows it up with another Ushigoroshi for 2. Tsuji then backslides out of the GTR and then into the Falcon Arrow for 2, and then gets a 2. Curb stomp by Tsuji. He follows up with the double jump curb stomp, but Goto kicks out of that 2.999.
Nine, nine, nine.
999. Goto slips off the shoulders of Tsuji and gets a rear naked choke, but Tsuji is fading. But Goto lets it go, and like Tsuji's like almost out. I'm like, dude, you're pulling a Sanada here, dude. Come on, just choke him
Right?
out. Be a Joe. Don't be a Sanada. Choke them the hell out. Like Christ.
Just
Uh,
do it.
he lets go, hits the PK. Tsuji ends up fighting out of the GTR. He hits a headbutt, but then Goto comes back with his headbutt. His comes back with his headbutt. Then another, and then many more, dropping Tsuji. Uh, Goto picks him up, looking like he's going for a suplex, but then sweeps him down, pulling out a move I haven't seen him do in so long. He hit Shoten Kai, his old finisher, Shoten Kai. That he beat, that literally Charlton yells he beat, he says he won. This is where how he won in 2012 was with Shoten Kai.
Mhm.
But Tsuji kicks out of that 2.9 there, and then Goto gets the chest kick, but Tsuji comes back with the flying knee, dropping Goto. Tsuji lines up Goto for the Gene Blaster, but Goto gets the lariat to stop the Gene Blaster. Goto gets like him in like the Okada ripcord position, ripcords him out, but then Tsuji ducks down and hits the Gene Blast off the ripcord. But
Mhm.
but Goto kicks at that 2.9. You have Charlton and Walker both yelling, "Nobody kicks out of the Gene Blaster!" So he lines up, he gets over into the corner, 3-point stance. Tsuji hits the Gene Blaster for the win. And then post match, Mr. Tetsuya Naito comes out and they have a little conversation in Japanese that I don't know what the hell they said, but it's essentially setting up the April 6th Sakura Genesis show match between these two.
Yes. Yes. All the yes.
Oh,
All the
yeah.
yes. Um, I don't know, I feel like the Ripcord Gene Blast, he didn't get the full power on there because it was definitely a far shorter, smaller distance. He wasn't able to get that momentum power behind it before he hits like he usually does coming out of the corner for sure.
I'll agree with that
Um,
and also because it wasn't even him hitting the ripcord. Goto ripcorded him to do a move. I feel like Goto was going for
mm,
Rainmaker there. I think
probably.
Goto was gonna like bust out like I'm pulling up I gotta pull out a Rainmaker here, and so you just knew the reversal for it. So yeah,
Yeah, and if it was a true Rainmaker, we would have gotten a Rainmaker pose too, right? Beforehand.
true,
Much like
true.
I think, did we get it with Cobb? Didn't Cobb try it when he
Yeah,
got it?
when he puts his arms out, he makes sure he does this. It's for signaling for
Yeah,
the Aloha Maker.
yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Um, just gonna, yeah, dust my nails off here, and yeah, I called this one. I'm so happy for the first time ever. I have had someone actually not even only make it to the finals, but I had someone win. This is what happens when you don't pick Kenta. You win.
Yeah, I gotta stop picking with my heart, man. I
This was
picked
still a hard
Saber.
pick. This was still a hard pick for me though, but I've been on the Suji train since he left, let alone when he come back.
Hmm.
The unique moveset that he has, I really truly do think is a future for strong style and professional wrestling just in general. He's got such a cool and unique style, and then this just the look of him. He looks larger, but the things that he can do are very junior-esque. Like he moves with the quickness and just flexibility, mobility of Bushi, but
Mm-hmm.
then he's the size of Tetsuya Naito. It's incredible.
He's bigger than
Um,
Naito.
I
He's
was gonna say, looking at this picture comparatively, he actually looks thicker.
he's looking, and he's also looking down at Naito a little bit, so he's standing over him almost.
Yeah, he's got the head tilt kind of going on there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That trophy though, I love the look of that trophy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. We gotta make our own or something. Melball will DUI something. Make her own
TUI.
NJPW. Why not?
It's DIY, not D.
DIY.
You don't want to be drinking
Oh my
you don't be
God,
driving under the
no.
influence, girl. Come on.
No, absolutely not. I have seen the very bad results of that, especially
Oh my
lately. God help
Oh
us.
my god! I was just like, "What? No, DIY. They're the tag team from
Hold
WWE
on.
DIY."
Hold on. Let me refuel my.
Uh,
Okay, I got some caffeine in there. I think we're good now.
Melball's
Yeah,
a rock star.
DIY. Yeah, I try. Try. Um, yeah, this match was so good. It was so nice to have the last two matches of this cup where like we got traditional great freaking matches and clean matches. There was no question of the winner in the last two matches here. Um, which is nice considering we've just been tortured for a lot of this tournament. Please don't do this again. Like this is the cup now. The next one will be the next big one coming with the singles will be the G1, right?
Well,
Next.
we got Super Juniors, but just
There's
how's
only like there's only
they've
two
got Togo
people
and
from
Show.
House of
But they got Togo and Show, so
Togo.
yeah, Togo's a junior.
Kanemaru would be in the Super Junior before Togo, though.
Yeah, okay, but Togo, Kanemaru, and Show all possible entrants to the Super Junior this year.
Jack Perry.
He's a heavyweight. I think they're going to classify it because again he's in this tournament. I feel
Oh
like they're
yeah,
going to
he's in
classify
this
him as heavyweight.
tournament. Yeah,
Yeah, I feel like they're going to
it's
classify him as
true. It's
heavyweight.
true.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, whatever House of Torture is, they're always going to be a fracking problem until they aren't.
Yep.
But like, I really hope that this isn't a perpetual problem where House of Torture is going to be ruining these tournaments because they were very close to ruining this tournament for me. When it gets hard to watch the tournament because of the participants, like I've said this, I made this comparison to you before with the Millennial Rebels here. It's the same thing. It's the same kind of conundrum where it's a push. It's pushing people out the door, not bringing them in. Um, so yeah, I mean, we used to see tons of House of Torture stuff in the crowd. Now we don't. And they start doing their stuff. We used to hear the occasional cheer pockets from people up in the rafters and stuff who did like House of Torture. Now we're not even getting that. It's silence or booing or both. Like you'll have the pockets of boos and everyone's just sitting there going, "No, go away." It can't keep happening because
Mhm.
it could overshadow amazing moments like this. I was really scared that we were gonna end up with a House of Torture main event, and that,
Oh
oh
my
my
god.
god, would have destroyed everything about this. I am so happy with how this tournament ended. It was, like, starting to go downhill for me, and then it got saved in the last 2 matches. I was like, "Thank goodness."
Hmm. Again, like while Evil and Tsuji's match was actually a really good match throughout,
Mhm,
um, there was shenanigans before and after at the end of that match. It was
mhm.
the only time that again, like we said on the show earlier, it was the least torturous match of all the House of Torture matches so far.
Mhm.
Uh, And I would say the only one that comes close to that is maybe Narita versus Saber, because that was like a 95% match, and then it was that last like 2 minutes that they just ruined the match with.
Yeah,
So
but then we could say the same thing with Sanada and Perry, because that was actually a solid match too until House of Torture got involved.
mm,
It's so funny. I feel like every House of Torture match with individuals from House of Torture, that's kind of what we end up saying. It
yeah,
started off as a great match, and then House of Torture happened, and it went to shit.
I think you and me are just so used to watching these multi-man tags with House of Torture, and being the fact that there's like there are 3 or 4 of them, so they're always cheating. There's always one of them distracting the other, so they're always cheating the entire match. I think that's why we have such disdain when we go into a House of Torture singles, and we're like, "Oh, the match was
Yeah,
great up until the interference." Like,
yeah.
yeah, I think that's
Because
my biggest
because when
problem.
it Because when it gets to be too much, it becomes very unenjoyable. I'm all for shenanigans, especially if they make sense, but the shenanigans have to make sense, and there's a lot about House of Torture that doesn't. I think
Mm.
that's where my biggest problem is.
So yeah, just gonna pop it up here.
Yeah.
Sekiro Genesis 2024, April 6th. We'll have coverage of that coming out.
Is this the
Uh,
official poster?
uh, they always put these ones out early. Like they make these little graphics, like that are just like cut off graphics, and then they'll like on the day of the show. They post them up on Twitter as the matches are happening. And that's where you get the nice actual graphic from, and that's what I
I was gonna
always
say,
yeah.
they cut off half the title there.
Yeah, no, they'll have an actual night. This is just the ones they build and put on New Japan World for match announcements. They've been doing it a lot. Like they don't put out. They used to just put the proper nice graphic out when they announce matches, but now they've just been putting out these and then putting the real graphic out on in like it when they're posting to lead up and the day before the matches and everything. So that's where I steal all my graphics from is Twitter.
It's just interesting to see the belt half cut off.
That is very weird. Oh,
Wow.
whoa, way too big. Hit the wrong
Back
button.
the fizzity up.
You don't want to be that close to this. You don't want to see this face that close up. Trust me.
Oof. I had like a Aladdin moment there. It's like too close, a little too close.
Oh, it's pretty good. But we have come to the end of another episode of NJPW Puroresu Review, not Revo. Man, what is wrong with my words today? You can find me on the X. Yeah, English. You can find me on the X, Mastodon, Blue Sky, and Hive at That Canada Guy, TikTok, and Instagram, and Threads at That Canada Dude. You can find me on Facebook at Andre Melball Wrestling Talk, or over on our YouTube page, youtube.com/at Andre Melball Wrestling Talk. Just get a hold of us in any of the comments there. You could also find us over on Sunday night's main event.com. All our Stardom review and our New Japan Puroresu review shows will be over there, simulcast over there in audio form. If you don't want to be watching on YouTube, you can check them out in audio. Just download podcasts all quick and fast and put it on your podcast catcher. It's easy there. If you do go to sundaysmainevent.com and just add them to your podcast catcher and give us a 5-star review if you can. And if you want to support Sunday's Main Event Radio, who do a great job with all the great content they put out, go to patreon.com/SNME Radio, $4 US dollars per month to support them. You can also find me over at twitch.tv/our local establishment this week. So as this show comes out on Monday, I will be on tonight for a Ghostbusters review with my boy Bobby Bunsen and Alex. We're going to be talking, or Alex Ecto Guy. That Ecto Guy, I think, is his actual Twitter handle. So it's a Ghostbusters Twitter handle, and it's my boy Alex. So the three of us getting together, talk some Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, which I loved. So that's a preview right there. Wednesday, I will be back with my boy Ol Ed to talk the Marvel talk for MC Rebound's Avengers review. Looking forward to talking that. I have talked to a friend of ours about a special guest position on that show. I guess got to run it by Ed. I think he's cool with it because he mentioned it first. So gonna hopefully have a special guest on that one talking the Avengers. And then Friday, me and Mel will be back with another Japanese wrestling update if we can. We have a very, very busy week this week between shows we're doing for the channel, shows we're doing live, shows we're going to be attending. And Mel's got a show with Asher she's got to get done this week. So there might be a chance that Japanese Wrestling Update might not appear this week. If that doesn't happen, we'll be back on April 5th with a very special live edition in the middle of the afternoon. It'll be a Stardom review crossover because we'll be talking the Stardom in Philly show, the American Dream Philly show, talking all that ish from Philadelphia at the WrestleMania weekend for Stardom. So yeah, and there'll be a GCW match in there for Suri, or for I think it's Suri versus Master Slamovich. We'll be talking that one too. And then one more shout out for me and the Mel can talk because I've been talking forever. YouTube.com/@Backbreaker Video. Our boy Mike the Rest simulcast all our stuff over there. You can find stuff from us, all the old wrestling content Mike has up there. You can find his AEW watch alongs there, and you can find a lot of content from Asher Pizarro also over there. Killer Cuts is a simulcast over there. Great show. Go check that out. If you want to see Mike's Twitch watch alongs live, go to twitch.tv/Mike the Ref. You can watch along with him on Wednesdays and Saturdays for AEW Dynamite and Collision. You can also find all his gaming content all the other days of the week there. And if you want replays of this gaming content, go to youtube.com/@backbreaker_gaming, where you can find content from him, Mr. PJC, Mr. Rick Jules, and their frequent guest, Kayla J.
Hello, J. Love Kayla J. Where's your Rick Jules sticker?
I never picked it up.
Shan.
Skywalker. Shun Skywalker. I get it. You're talking about Shun Skywalker now?
Sure. Ay. If you're wanting to follow Melball, you can find her on the X thing at Collins Melball. You can find her on everything else, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Mastodon, and Blue Sky at Melball Collins. You can also find me, as Andre mentioned, on our local establishments programming, Japanese wrestling update with this guy, usually on Fridays at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. You can also catch me on Astro Pizarro's YouTube channel, where we do our show, Ladies Wrestling Showcase. We are hopefully having a show coming out this Friday. We'll be getting that done in hopefully Friday morning before the chaos of Friday night. Hopefully.
What about the chaos of Thursday night?
Yeah, I'm have to do with that too. Yeah, good times. It's gonna be worth it though. Gonna be worth it for the match. But yeah, stick to our socials to see when that episode is coming out, and then hopefully in a few episodes we're going to be having a special guest on there. So stay tuned to the socials to see who we announce for that. Also, what? If you're wanting to watch NJPW, we will leave a link in the description box below. It is njpwworld.com. It is 999 yen, or approximately 10 Canadian. Shout out John Spears. Congratulations for being back on NXT, but it's actually more like 750, according to my bank account, because that's what it said this month. Still an amazing price to watch some amazing professional wrestling. Andre, my trusted friend and colleague, do you have anything else to say to the beautiful people?
No, I just want to say thank you all so very much for joining us here again. Please, if you're watching on either Andre Melball Wrestling Talk or Backbreaker Video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below. Please share us out to your friends, family, creatures from the Black Lagoon, and all the others. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can be alerted every time we drop a new video.
Big dog?
Hello?
I would not want to answer it if it's going to be a freaking swamp monster. No, spank you.
And also, if you are listening on Sunday nights Main Event Radio, please like if you can like the podcast. I don't know if you can like podcast. I don't know. I can't on my podcast catcher. Also, give us a 5-star review if you can. We really would appreciate it. And if you want to support, go to patreon.com/SNME Radio, $4 US per month.
Awesome sauce and possum. And that being said, I am your Melball. Over there is Andre. We will see you next time. Adios.